Hey, welcome back. I promised a second version of our recommendations of best picture books, and I wanted to specifically in this video chat to you about books from our region, from Southern Africa, that you would particularly enjoy, that we've particularly enjoyed. I will always start with Jackie Taylor. This is an African ABC, and Jackie writes a whole alphabet of poetry, really, but it is so local. It's so beautifully perceptive of local fauna and flora, and it is stunning in its illustrations. I is for an interesting evening in Durban, silhouette in the last light, a grazing impala, incandescent the flame, insects in flight, ibis alight in wait for the night. I said last week that we must never let our children outgrow picture books, and one of the reasons is that this kind of vocabulary features in picture books, and because we have gorgeous illustrations, we need not worry about vocabulary being out of reach of our children. There is different layers in which language is caught, and if the first layer is just the beauty and the musicality and the rhythm of an African ABC, then let it grow like that. And because language is a circle, because we keep coming past the same point and picking up something new, nothing lets us come past the same point like a beautiful picture book that we have to read again, mommy, again, daddy, again. Also, go and have a look at A Baobab is Big and Other Verses from Africa, also by Jackie Taylor. Ben Redlich is not a South African author. He is based in the UK, but he writes the most delicious naughty animal stories, and they're naughty in just the right way. This is Cheeky Charlie, who shows his ignorance and his prejudice as he goes around the savannah, laughing at every creature for their oddity, for their size, for their ugliness, until he meets his brother Furley. Let's find Furley. And he just about kills himself at how funny Furley's pink bottom is. And do you know where this is going? There's a huge, embarrassing, terrible discovery for Charlie when he realizes that he is a pink bottom just as bad. It's a wonderful story about teasing, and it's just so deliciously perceptive. And I think this is something that is so good about stories, is that we don't have to sit down with our kids after a story like that and say, now, do you see teasing is bad? We just laugh at Charlie for being so ridiculous and not seeing himself in the story while we see ourselves in the story. It's so much more of an organic way to get truth across, really. Ben Redlich is also the author of Who Flung Dung, which might even be our favorite, which is possibly why I can't find it to show it to you. Sassel's collection of my first book ofs. Is that how you say it? They're fabulous, and they are everything from birds through ocean life, sea life, mammals, insects. As you can see, we have a stock that we have loved for some years now. The reason I love these, they aren't stories, they are non-fiction books, but fantastic first introductions. We started off with these books by a challenge that my children accepted to learn 50 birds from their region, and we had the first volume of my first book of birds and the second, and the kids would trace the shapes, color them, learn some facts, draw some of the information. It was so visual, it was so beautifully presented that they memorized these birds, and we fell in love with this collection. Now, some 4 or 5 years later, we are still using them at the moment, chiefly because 3 of South Africa's core languages are represented here, and 4 actually: English, Afrikaans, Zulu, and Xhosa. We're using the beautiful Afrikaans translations in our language learning at the moment. So it's such a great resource, I think, in terms of enjoying what's local and special to our area. copy with me of Handa's Surprise by Aileen Bronte, but I would love you to see if you can get hold of it. It is a beautifully illustrated, lovely story that my mum-in-law used to use in her teaching of infants and first graders. And in its adding pictures, taking away story development, there's such musicality in the story, and you need to grab a hold of it. It's beautiful. Nikki Daly is also a very accomplished Southern African writer. Not So Fast Chongololo and Jamela's Dress are two of our favorites that you need to grab.